Millionaire finds his nanny working with his twins in her arms and discovers the unthinkable. Michael Thompson felt his legs tremble as he watched the scene before him. The woman who had cared for his children for 2 years was there, with the twins tied to her chest, cleaning tables at a popular restaurant in downtown Chicago. It was when she turned around and their eyes met. Tammy tried to hide her face behind the cleaning cloth, but it was too late. Michael had already recognized those eyes that had so often reassured him when he needed to travel for work, knowing his children would be in good hands. "Miss Tammy?" His voice came out louder than he intended, making other customers look in their direction. The 42-year-old woman lowered her head, her hands shaking as she held the cleaning brush. The 8-month-old twins, Ethan and Noah, were quiet in the makeshift carrier she had sewn from fabric scraps. "Mr. Michael." "I can explain," she murmured, unable to lift her eyes. "Explain what?" Michael approached, taking a better look at the situation. The little ones were clean and well cared for, but the exhaustion on Tammy's face was evident. "Why are my children here? And why are you working in this place?" A heavy-set woman in a dirty apron approached them, annoyed by the commotion. "Hey, Tammy, what's all this chatter? Did you come here to work or to talk?" The manager crossed her arms, looking suspiciously at Michael. "And who's this?" "Sorry, Mrs. Jenkins, it's just—" Tammy swallowed hard. "I'm her employer," Michael said, trying to keep his voice steady. "And I'd like to understand what's happening here." Mrs. Jenkins let out a dry laugh. "Employer? She didn't tell me she had another job. Look here, mister. Here she's my employee and needs to work. If you want to talk, do it on her own time." "Another job?" Michael looked at Tammy, who seemed to want to disappear at that moment. "Tammy, answer me. Why are you working here with my children? Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out. Now continuing." Tammy's answer came in the form of tears that began to stream down her face. She pressed the babies to her chest and took a deep breath before speaking. "Mr. Michael, you know my husband works as a construction worker." "Worked," she corrected, wiping her face with the back of her hand. 3 months ago he had an accident at the construction site. He fell from a height of 13 feet. Michael felt his stomach tighten. Tammy had never mentioned this at home. "An accident? But why didn't you tell me?" Because I didn't want to seem like I was taking advantage of your kindness." She glanced quickly at him and then looked away. "It's already so much that you trust your children to someone like me." "Someone like you?" Michael repeated, not understanding. Mrs. Jenkins huffed impatiently. "Look, I don't have time for all this talk. Tammy, either you get back to work now or you can leave. And next time, leave those children at home. This isn't a daycare." "Please, Mrs. Jenkins, I need this job," Tammy begged. "I promise they won't be in the way." "I already said I don't want to hear it. Babies in here are against the rules." Michael watched the interaction and felt something strange in his chest. At that moment, Noah started to cry, and automatically, Tammy began to sway her body to calm him, even while holding the cleaning supplies. "How much does my father owe you at home?" he asked directly. Tammy stopped moving and looked at him in astonishment. "Owe? No, Mr. Michael, you don't owe anything. It's me who needs more money because of Frank's situation." "Frank is your husband?" "Yes. He can't work anymore after the accident. The doctor said he'll need physical therapy for a long time, and the insurance doesn't cover everything." She paused, noticing Noah had stopped crying. "I tried to get a loan from the bank, but they asked for a guarantor, and you didn't want to ask me," Michael completed. "Exactly. You already do so much for us by paying a fair wage. I couldn't take advantage of your trust." Mrs. Jenkins stomped her foot. "Enough of this talk. Tammy, decide now. Either work or leave." Michael looked at the manager with irritation. "Could you give us a few minutes? This is an important matter. What's important is her work." "Look, mister, I don't know who you think you are, but I'm in charge here. She's been late 3 times this week, and on top of that she brought the children. This can't continue." "She was late?" "Yes. Said she needed to get the children ready and prepare some things. Whatever. This isn't the place for such excuses. Michael looked at Tammy, who was visibly embarrassed. It's true, Mr. Michael. I have to leave home very early to get your children ready before the lady wakes up. Then I bring them here with me, work until 2 in the afternoon, go back home to make lunch for Frank and do his physical therapy, then return to your house at the usual time. But that means... Michael started calculating. What time are you waking up? Around 4:30 in the morning. And going to sleep when? After midnight. I still need to get everything organized for the next day, and Frank sometimes has pain at night, and Michael felt as if he'd been punched in the stomach. For 2 years, Tammy arrived punctually at 6 in the morning at his house, always smiling, always taking perfect care of Ethan and Noah. He never imagined she was living this exhausting routine. Miss Tammy, why didn't you tell me this before? Because... She hesitated, swaying slightly as Ethan began to get restless. Because I have pride, Mr. Michael. My mother always taught me that we must solve our problems with our own sweat. A lady about 70 years old, who was having lunch at a nearby table, stood up and approached them. Excuse me, she said, addressing Michael. I heard the conversation and couldn't help but interfere. Mrs. Jenkins sighed irritably. Look, Mrs. Perkins, you don't need to get involved in this. Yes, I do, the elderly woman said firmly, because this young lady here, she pointed to Tammy, saved my life 2 weeks ago. Michael turned completely to the lady. How so? I was here having lunch, alone as always, when I fell ill. A heart problem. I started feeling those terrible chest pains. Mrs. Perkins gestured dramatically. No one was paying attention to me, only her. She dropped everything she was doing and helped me. Mrs. Perkins, you don't need to... Let me finish, dear, the elderly woman interrupted Tammy. She took me to the emergency room, stayed with me until the early hours, and when she found out I didn't have money to buy the medicine the doctor prescribed, guess what she did? Everyone remained silent. She took the money she had earned working here that day and bought my medicine. All the money, mister. Not even enough left for her to take the bus home. Michael looked at Tammy, whose face was red with embarrassment. Mrs. Perkins, please. And there's more, the lady continued. The next day she came back to the hospital to check on me. She brought a lunchbox she made herself and spent the whole afternoon talking with me. I found out she did that because I reminded her of her mother, who had passed away not long ago. Your mother passed away? Michael asked, surprised. 4 months ago, Mr. Michael. Right after Frank's accident, Tammy said softly. It was a very difficult time. At that moment, Michael realized that during all those months, while Tammy cared for his children with such affection and dedication, she was facing tragedies in her own life, and he hadn't even noticed. Why did you never tell me about your mother? Because you pay me to take care of your children, not to listen to my problems. Mrs. Perkins shook her head. See, this girl has a heart of gold, but she's too stubborn to accept help. Mrs. Jenkins, who had remained silent during the testimony, crossed her arms again. Look, all of this is very touching, but it doesn't change the fact that she can't work here with these children. If the health inspector shows up here, I'm the one who will have problems. I understand your concern, Michael said, keeping a respectful tone. But perhaps we can find a solution. The only solution is for her to leave the children at home and work properly, or find another job. Mrs. Jenkins, Tammy said with a trembling voice, I know it's hard for you to accept the situation, but I really need this job, and I have no one to leave the children with. No one to leave them with? Michael asked, confused. But what happened to the municipal daycare where you used to leave your other children? The children aren't mine, Mr. Michael, Tammy replied, and everyone looked at her in surprise. They're your children, Ethan and Noah. Michael felt as if the ground had disappeared beneath his feet. My children? But why did you bring my children here? Because... Tammy took a deep breath, knowing she would have to explain everything. Because I had no one else to leave them with. The young woman I paid to stay with them when I left your place to come here could no longer help, and I couldn't find anyone trustworthy who charged a price I could afford. Wait, Michael was trying to process the information. You were paying someone to take care of my children while you worked somewhere else? Yes, sir. With what money? With what I earn here. Michael paused, trying to understand the logic of the situation. Tammy, are you telling me that you take the money you earn here to pay someone to take care of my children while you work here to earn money to pay that person? Yeah. When you put it that way, it does sound strange, Tammy admitted. Strange. It's completely nonsensical. Mrs. Perkins intervened again. Young man, from what I understand, she was doing this because she needed more money to care for her sick husband, but didn't want to ask you for a raise. Exactly, Tammy confirmed. You already pay me very well, Mr. Michael. I know there are other employers who pay less. I couldn't ask for more. But you could risk my children's safety by bringing them to work in a restaurant? Michael was starting to get angry. Michael's words hit Tammy like a slap. She looked at the twins, who were calm in the carrier, and then at him. I would never put their safety at risk, Mr. Michael. They're always with me. I'm very careful. They're always clean and fed. That's not the point, Tammy. The point is that you should have talked to me before making a decision like that. Tammy lowered her head, and Michael realized she was crying silently. You're right. It was selfish of me. I just didn't know what else to do. At that moment, Ethan started crying louder, and instinctively Tammy began to hum softly a song that Michael recognized. It was the same one she sang for his children at home when they got fussy. The baby calmed down almost immediately. Michael watched the scene and felt his anger dissipating. There was something about the way Tammy cared for the twins that went beyond a simple professional relationship. How many jobs do you have, Tammy? Besides you and here, I clean a clothing store at night 3 times a week. And on weekends, I help my neighbor, Mrs. Wilson, make pastries to sell at the market. Michael did the math mentally. Does that mean you work every day of the week? Except Sunday afternoon. That's when I stay home with Frank and the children rest. What children? My 3 kids, Mr. Michael. I have a 10-year-old girl, Emily, a 7-year-old boy, Tommy, and the youngest, who's 5, Timmy. Michael realized that in 2 years of work, Tammy had mentioned her children only a few times, and he had never paid much attention to the details. And where are they while you work? Emily takes care of the boys when she's not in school. She's very responsible for her age. A 10-year-old child taking care of 2 others. It's what we can manage, Mr. Michael, Tammy said with a mix of sadness and pride in her voice. Emily is very smart. She knows how to heat up food, change a diaper if needed, and has the neighbor's phone number for any emergency. Mrs. Jenkins, who was listening to the whole conversation, shook her head. Look, this all sounds very nice, but I have a restaurant to run. Tammy, you decide right now, either work without the children or you're fired. Mrs. Jenkins, please give me 1 more week. I'll figure out a way to... No, that's enough. You've already brought them here 3 times this week. The other employees are complaining, customers are giving dirty looks, and I can't accept this. Michael saw the desperation in Tammy's eyes and made a decision. How much does she make working here? That's none of your business, Mrs. Jenkins replied sharply. I make 200 reais a week, Mr. Michael, Tammy said quietly. 800 reais a month? That's right. Michael took his wallet out of his pocket and counted out some bills. Here's 1 month's worth. He extended the money to Tammy. You don't need to work here anymore. Mr. Michael, I can't accept this. Tammy stepped back as if the money would burn her. Why not? Because it would be charity. And I'm not a beggar. It's not charity. It's an advance on your salary. But you already pay me what we agreed. Then let's renegotiate our agreement. Mrs. Jenkins watched the scene with interest. Mrs. Perkins smiled, approving Michael's attitude. Mr. Michael, you don't understand, Tammy insisted. I can't just accept more money from you like this. I have to earn this money by working. And you will work. You'll continue taking care of my children, only now with a salary that allows you to not have to chase after other jobs. But that's not fair to you. Let me decide what's fair to me, all right? At that moment, Noah started getting fussy, and Tammy automatically adjusted the carrier and began making gentle movements to calm him. See? Mrs. Perkins said to Michael. She does it naturally. I bet your children love her. It's true, Michael admitted, watching how the twins seemed completely comfortable in Tammy's arms. They're calmer with her than with anyone else. That's because she loves them as if they were her own children, said a voice behind them. Everyone turned and saw a woman around 50 years old, wearing a uniform similar to Tammy's. "Debbie," Tammy exclaimed, surprised. "Hi, Tammy. I came to get my bag that I forgot here yesterday." The woman approached the group. "Sorry to intrude, but I couldn't help overhearing." "Who are you?" Michael asked. "I'm Debbie. I work here on weekends. And I can tell you that this girl here," she pointed to Tammy, "is one of the most dedicated people I've ever known." "How so?" "Sir, I see her arrive here every day exhausted, with those children in her arms, and yet she works as if her life depended on it. And you know what impresses me the most?" Michael shook his head. "She shares her lunch with the people who beg for food outside on the street, every day, even when I know she barely has anything to eat at home." "Debbie, stop it," Tammy murmured, embarrassed. "I won't stop, no." "You need to know what kind of person you have working in your home," Debbie continued. "The other day I saw her give the last coins she had to a homeless boy who was starving. And when I asked how she would get home without money, she said she would walk." Michael looked at Tammy, whose face was completely red. "Is that true?" "Mr. Michael, Answer me. Is it true?" "Sometimes we meet people who are in worse situations than us," Tammy said softly. "It doesn't hurt to help when we can." "But you had no money to get home." "I have legs to walk." Michael felt a mix of admiration and irritation. "Tammy, you have 3 small children waiting for you at home, a sick husband who needs your care, and you still find time to help strangers on the street." "They're not strangers. They're people who need help." "And you, don't you need help?" "I manage." Mrs. Perkins chuckled softly. "Sir, you won't convince her that she needs to accept help. This girl is stubborn as a mule." Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out. Now continuing. At that moment, Ethan started crying louder, and this time even Tammy's attempts to calm him weren't working. "He must be hungry," she said, looking at Michael. "Usually around this time I give them their bottle." "Did you bring a bottle?" "Yes, I did. It's in my bag, over there behind the counter." Tammy went to where her bag was, a well-worn cloth tote, and pulled out 2 bottles. "Mr. Michael, can you hold Noah while I feed Ethan?" Michael took Noah in his arms and immediately noticed how clean and sweet-smelling the baby was. His clothes were impeccable, and Michael recognized the outfit. It was one he had bought himself. While Tammy fed Ethan, Michael watched how she did it so naturally, even standing in the middle of a busy restaurant. She tested the milk's temperature on her wrist, positioned the baby correctly, and hummed softly while he drank. "Tammy, can I ask you a question?" "Of course, Mr. Michael." "How can you care for my children with so much affection when you barely have time to care for your own children?" Tammy stopped humming and looked at him. "Do you think I don't take good care of my children?" "That's not it. It's just you spend more time with Ethan and Noah than with your own children." "Mr. Michael, when I agree to care for a family's children, they become mine too, at least during the time I'm with them," she explained, shifting Ethan's position. "I can't separate them. To me, they're all my children." Michael felt something strange in his chest hearing those words. "And your children don't get jealous?" "They did at first, especially Emily, but I talked to them and explained that Mommy's job is to care for other children so she can buy food and clothes for them. And they understood." "Emily said something that really stuck with me." Tammy smiled for the first time since the conversation began. She said, "Mom, I'm not jealous because I know that when other mothers need to work, they'll also care for their children with the same love that you care for others." Did she really say that? She did, at 10 years old. Sometimes children are wiser than adults. At that moment, Noah started to get restless in Michael's arms, making that little noise that indicated he was hungry. "Now it's his turn," Tammy said, finishing feeding Ethan. "Would you like to try giving him the bottle?" Michael hesitated. "I don't know if I know how to do this right." "It's easy. Let me show you." Tammy adjusted Noah in Michael's arms, and positioned the bottle in the baby's mouth. "Like this, see? You can't tilt it too much or he'll choke, and you'll feel when he's satisfied, because he'll let go on his own." Michael followed the instructions and was surprised to see how easily Noah accepted the bottle, even being in the arms of someone he hadn't seen for several hours. "He didn't fuss," Michael commented, impressed. "Babies sense when the person taking care of them is safe and caring," Tammy explained, "and they know who their daddy is." Michael looked at Noah, who was nursing peacefully, and then at Ethan, who had fallen asleep in Tammy's arms. "Tammy, can I confess something?" "Of course. I sometimes get scared that I won't know how to take good care of them. Ever since Rachel passed, I feel completely lost." Tammy looked at him with surprise. It was the first time Michael had mentioned his wife so directly. "You are a wonderful father, Mr. Michael." "How can you say that? I barely know how to change a diaper properly." Being a good father isn't about knowing how to change a diaper or give a bottle. It's about loving, caring, wanting the best for them, and you do that. "But I work all the time. I hardly have any time to spend with them." "Mr. Michael, you work to give them a good life. That is also love." Michael felt his eyes fill with tears. "Sometimes I think they'll grow up without knowing their real father." "They won't. They know you are their daddy. Do you know how I know?" "How?" "Because every time you come home, even when they're sleeping, I see their little faces change. They sense your presence." Michael looked at Noah, who had finished the bottle and was looking directly at him with those big, curious eyes. "Tammy, can I ask another question?" "You may. Why did you never remarry? Don't your children miss having a father present?" "Who said I'm not married?" Michael stopped rocking Noah and looked at her in surprise. "You're married?" "I am. To Frank, the man who had the accident." "But you said my husband. I thought that Frank is the stepfather to my 3 children, but to them he is their father. And to me he is my husband. We got married on paper 2 years ago, but we've lived together for 5. Michael felt even more confused. "So the 3 children you mentioned are from another relationship?" "They are. Their father abandoned us when Timmy was still in my belly." "And Frank took on the 3 children?" "He did. He said if he was going to marry me, he was going to marry the whole family." Tammy smiled again. "He's a very good man, Mr. Michael. That's why I insist on giving him the best possible care now that he needs it." Michael began to understand the situation better. "And that's why you don't want to accept my help, because you want to show him that you can solve problems on your own. It's not just that. It's that I've learned that when we accept too much help, we end up getting used to it and stop fighting. But everyone needs help sometimes, Tammy. I know, but I want to make sure I'm doing my part." Mrs. Jenkins, who had remained silent during this entire conversation, approached again. "Sorry to interrupt, but I need to close this matter. Tammy, are you going to work here without the children or not?" Before Tammy could respond, an elegant woman entered the restaurant. Michael recognized her immediately. It was Jennifer, his business partner. "Michael, what are you doing here?" She approached, visibly surprised. "Jennifer, Michael looked at Noah in his arms and then at Tammy. "It's a long story." Jennifer observed the scene, Michael holding one of the twins, Tammy with the other in a baby carrier and wearing a restaurant employee uniform. "Hello, Miss Tammy," Jennifer greeted. "What a surprise to find you here." "Good afternoon, Miss Jennifer," Tammy replied, clearly uncomfortable. "Michael, can you explain what's going on?" Michael sighed, knowing he'd have to explain the whole situation again. "Tammy is working here because she needs extra money to care for her sick husband, and she brought Ethan and Noah because she had no one to leave them with." "She brought our children to work at a restaurant?" Jennifer raised her voice, causing other customers to look in their direction. "Jennifer, let me explain better." "No need to explain anything. Tammy, can you tell me what kind of irresponsibility this is?" Tammy lowered her head, feeling humiliated. "Ms. Jennifer, I can explain." "I don't want to hear explanations. I want to know how you had the audacity to bring my children to this place." Jennifer, Michael used a firm tone. She's doing this because she needs to, not because she wants to. Needs to? Michael, we pay her more than an adequate salary. If she's having financial difficulties, she should have talked to us. That's exactly what I told her. And what did she say? Michael looked at Tammy, who was trembling slightly. That she has pride and didn't want to take advantage of our kindness. Jennifer took a deep breath, trying to control herself. Tammy, look at me. Tammy reluctantly raised her head. Do you understand that by bringing my children into this environment, you're putting them at risk? Ms. Jennifer, I would never put the boys' safety at risk. They're always with me. I'm very careful. It's not a matter of care, Tammy. It's a matter of responsibility. A restaurant is no place for 8-month-old babies. I know it's not ideal, but I had no other choice. There are always other choices. The question is whether you want to accept help or not. At that moment, Noah began to get fussy in Michael's arms, and automatically Tammy approached to take him. Let me have him, Mr. Michael. He probably needs to poop. Here in the restaurant? Jennifer asked, horrified. No, Miss Jennifer. I have a little spot back there where I change them when needed. A little spot in the back? Michael asked. It's a small place that Mrs. Jenkins let me use near the storage room. Jennifer and Michael exchanged looks. Tammy, take me to see this place, Jennifer said. Miss Jennifer, it's nothing special, it's just a... I said take me there. Tammy walked ahead, carrying Noah, and Jennifer and Michael followed her. Mrs. Jenkins accompanied the group, curious to see how this would turn out. The little spot Tammy had mentioned was literally a space of about 1 square meter between the storage room and the refrigerator, where she had improvised a changing area with an old towel over a wooden box. My God, Jennifer murmured, observing the precariousness of the place. It's not ideal, but it works, Tammy said, starting to change Noah. I always clean everything very well before and after. Michael watched as Tammy performed the entire diaper-changing process with efficiency and care, even in that improvised space. Tammy, how long have you been doing this? About 2 weeks. And before that? Before I paid Mrs. Regina to watch them, like I told you. And why did Mrs. Regina stop helping? Because... Tammy hesitated. Because I couldn't pay her last week, and she said she couldn't help anymore. You couldn't pay because you spent the money on medicine for that lady, Michael said, remembering the story Mrs. Perkins had told. Not just because of that. Also because Frank needed some tests that the insurance didn't cover, and Jennifer interrupted. How much did those tests cost? 300 Rs. And how much do you pay Mrs. Wilson? 50 Rs a day. Michael did the math mentally. Joyce, Tammy, that means you spend 250 Rs a week just to be able to work here and earn 200 Rs. When you put it that way, Tammy admitted the situation really didn't make financial sense. And why did you keep doing it? Because I was hoping the money from other jobs would make up the difference. And also because... She paused. Because what? Because I like working. It makes me feel useful. Jennifer watched as Tammy finished changing Noah with great care, wiping her hands with hand sanitizer she had brought herself. Tammy, you have children at home who need you too. I know, Miss Jennifer, but they understand that Mommy needs to work. Do they understand, or have they accepted it because they have no choice? Tammy stopped what she was doing and looked at Jennifer. What do you mean? I mean a 10-year-old child shouldn't have to take care of 2 younger children while her mother is away all day. Emily is very responsible. It's not a question of responsibility, Tammy. It's a question of childhood. She should be playing, studying, being a child, not taking care of the house and her siblings. Michael saw tears forming in Tammy's eyes. Miss Jennifer, I do the best I can. I know you do, and that's exactly why we need to help you find a better solution. But I don't want to become someone who depends on others. Tammy, Michael said gently, accepting help when you need it doesn't make you dependent. It makes you human. At that moment, Ethan started crying in the carrier, and Tammy immediately went to check what was happening. He must be hot, she said, loosening his clothes a little. How do you know? Jennifer asked. Because I know them. Ethan always gets fussy when he's hot, and Noah does when he's sleepy. Michael and Jennifer watched how Tammy knew exactly what to do to calm Ethan, and how the baby immediately responded to her care. "Tammy," Jennifer said, in a softer tone, "how long do you think you can keep up this routine?" "As long as necessary." "And if you get sick? If you collapse from exhaustion?" "I won't get sick." "How can you be sure?" "Because I can't afford to get sick." Michael and Jennifer exchanged a worried look. "Tammy, this isn't a healthy way to live," Michael said. "Mr. Michael, do you think I chose to live like this? Do you think I want to be here with your children strapped to my chest, cleaning restaurant tables?" The question took Michael by surprise because of how directly it was asked. No, I don't think that." "Then you understand that I'm doing this because it's what I need to do right now?" "I understand, but I also understand that we can help you so you don't have to do this anymore." "How?" Michael looked at Jennifer, who nodded. "By increasing your salary so you don't need to work anywhere else." "Mr. Michael, I already said that." "Let him finish," Jennifer interrupted. "The raise wouldn't be charity, Tammy. It would be recognition for the work you do. In 2 years, you've never missed a day, never been late, never given any reason for complaint. You take care of my children as if they were your own." "Because they're mine too," Tammy answered without thinking. "What do you mean?" Tammy realized she had said more than she intended. I meant that while they're with me, I treat them as if they were my own children." "No," Michael said gently. "You meant exactly what you said. To you, they really are your children too." Tammy lowered her head, afraid she had said something wrong. "I'm sorry, Mr. Michael, I shouldn't have said that." "Why not?" Because they're not really my children. They have a father and they had a mother." Michael felt a lump in his throat at the reference to Rachel. "Tammy, can I say something?" "Of course." "Since Rachel passed, I've been trying to understand how my children are growing up so well, so happy, so secure, and now I know." "Know what?" "It's because they have a mother. You." Tammy lifted her head, surprised. "Mr. Michael." "No, let me speak. You get up every day at 4:30 in the morning, face this impossible routine, work until you can't take it anymore, and yet you come to my house every day smiling for my children. That's not work, Tammy. That's love. But I get paid for it. You get paid to take care of them. You don't get paid to love them, and that's exactly why they're growing up well." Jennifer, who had been listening to the whole conversation, approached. "Tammy, can I ask you a question?" "Yes, Ms. Jennifer. If you earned enough to take care of your husband and your children without needing to work elsewhere, would you keep working for us?" "Of course I would." "Why?" Because I like taking care of Ethan and Noah, and because I know Mr. Michael needs someone he trusts to leave them with." "And what if we offered an even better arrangement? What if we offered for you to live in our house with your whole family, so you could take care of the boys, and at the same time take care of your husband and your children?" Michael looked at Jennifer, surprised by the proposal. "Jennifer, are you sure?" "I am. Our house is big. It has maids' rooms we never use. Tammy's family could live there. She would continue taking care of our children, and on top of that she would have her husband and children nearby." Tammy looked at them as if she didn't quite understand. "Are you serious, Mom?" "Completely." But that would be too much. We are 5 people. That would be a lot of trouble for you." "Tammy," Michael said, "do you think 5 people will be more work than the situation you're living in now?" "It's not a question of work. It's a question of deserving." "What do you mean?" "I don't know if I deserve such kindness." Jennifer moved closer. "Tammy, look at me. Do you think you don't deserve a dignified life for you and your family? I always thought that you have to earn things through your own effort. And aren't you earning it? Aren't you working yourself to death to earn a better life for your family?" "I am, but what?" "But you're offering something I could never achieve on my own." Michael approached, holding Noah. "Tammy, you've already earned the most important thing, our trust and our respect. You've become part of our family. And in a family, people help each other. But I'm not really your family. No? Jennifer asked. Then what are you? Tammy hesitated. I am your employee. Just that? And a person who loves your children very much. And doesn't that make you family? Tammy looked at Ethan and Noah, who were calm in her and Michael's arms. I never thought of it that way. Then it's time to start thinking, Michael said. At that moment, Mrs. Jenkins approached the group. Excuse me, but I need to resolve this situation. Tammy, are you going to keep working here or not? Tammy looked at Michael and Jennifer, then at the twins, and finally at Mrs. Jenkins. Mrs. Jenkins, I don't think I'll need to work here anymore. Are you sure? Because if you leave now, don't come asking me to come back later. I'm sure. And thank you for the opportunity you gave me. Mrs. Jenkins shook her head and walked away, muttering something about people who don't know what they want. Mrs. Perkins, who had been watching the whole conversation from afar, approached. How wonderful that everything worked out, she said, smiling. Tammy, you deserve all the happiness in the world. Thank you, Mrs. Perkins. You are also a very special person. Oh, it's nothing. I only told the truth about you. Michael turned to Mrs. Perkins. Could you give me your address? I would like to help with the medicine that Tammy paid for you. No need, young man. It's all taken care of. But I insist. Look, if you really want to help, you can make a contribution to the neighborhood church. That's where I spend most of my time, helping other people in need. I will do that, Michael promised. Debbie, who had also been following the conversation, said goodbye to Tammy. I'm glad you found a solution, Tammy. You are a very good person. Thank you, Debbie. Be careful when you come to work here on weekends. Don't worry, and don't forget about us, okay? I will never forget. Dear listener, if you are enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out. Now continuing, when they left the restaurant, Michael, Jennifer and Tammy stood on the sidewalk for a few minutes, figuring out their next steps. Tammy, when would you like to talk to your family about the proposal? Jennifer asked. I need to talk to Frank first and with the children. Of course. Would you like us to come with you? You would do that? Of course we would, Michael replied. We want to meet your family. But our house is very simple, Mr. Michael. You are used to other things. Tammy, a simple house with love is worth more than a big house without warmth. All right. Can we go now? Now? Jennifer asked, surprised. It's just that if I go home and think about this all night, I might end up backing out. And I don't want to back out. I want to accept your help. Michael smiled. Then let's go right now. They headed to the parking lot where Michael's car was. Tammy hesitated before getting in. Mr. Michael, the boys don't have car seats in your car. That's true. How do you usually get around with them? By bus, with them in the carrier. Then let's take the bus. But you will take the bus. Why not? Jennifer laughed. Michael, when was the last time you rode a bus? I don't remember. But there's always a first time for everything. Tammy was touched by their attitude. You don't have to, Mr. Michael. We can take a taxi. No. I want to take the bus. I want to understand your life better. They walked to the nearest bus stop. Michael watched how Tammy knew the bus schedules, how she adjusted the carrier so the twins would be more comfortable, how she prepared for another part of her daily journey. Tammy, which bus are we taking? The 207. It comes in about 10 minutes. And how long does it take to get to your house? About 40 minutes, depending on traffic. 40 minutes. And how many times a day do you make this trip? Twice. Once in the morning to drop the boys off and come here, and once in the afternoon to go back. Michael did the math in his head. That's over 2 hours a day just on transportation. Yes, but I use the time to rest a little, and the boys like riding the bus. They enjoy looking out the window. When the bus arrived, Michael understood better the challenges that Tammy faced every day. The bus was packed, and she had to negotiate space to get on with the 2 babies. Some people made faces, others offered help. "Here, dear, you can sit here." An elderly lady offered her seat to Tammy. "Thank you, Mom," Tammy accepted gratefully. Michael watched how Tammy interacted naturally with the people on the bus, how she genuinely thanked every small kindness, how she was used to that routine. "Tammy, don't you get tired of dealing with this every day?" "Mr. Michael, when you have a goal, you can handle anything." "And what is your goal?" "To see my family well, and to know I'm doing my part to make that happen." Jennifer, who was watching the whole scene, leaned over to speak to Michael. "Now I understand why our children are so well cared for," she said quietly. "Why?" "Because she sees caring as a mission, not as a job." After 40 minutes, they got off the bus in an outlying neighborhood of Chicago. Michael observed the streets, the simple houses, the movement of people. It was a completely different world from what he was used to. "It's nearby," Tammy said, walking ahead. They passed a bakery, a small pharmacy, some houses with low gates. Tammy greeted several people along the way. "Hi, Miss Tammy. How are the babies today?" asked a woman who was sweeping the sidewalk. "Hi, Mrs. Wilson. They're well, thank God." "And Frank?" "Getting better slowly." "That's good. You can call if you need anything, okay?" "Thank you, ma'am." Michael realized that Tammy was well liked in the neighborhood, that people cared about her and her family. "This is it," Tammy said, stopping in front of a small but well-kept house. The house had an iron gate, a small porch, and walls painted light blue. There were pots with plants on the porch, and the windows had clean curtains. "It's a lovely house," Jennifer commented sincerely. "It's small, but it's ours," Tammy said with pride. They entered through the gate and Tammy called out, "Emily, I'm home." A girl appeared at the door. She was a pretty child, with curly hair tied in a ponytail and intelligent eyes. She looked curiously at Michael and Jennifer. "Mom, you're early today," she said, approaching to help with the babies. "I am, my dear. Emily, these are Mr. Michael and Ms. Jennifer, the parents of Ethan and Noah." "Hello," Emily said politely, but Michael noticed she was studying them carefully. "Hello, Emily," Michael replied. "Your mother talks a lot about you." "She does," the girl smiled. "Good things, I hope." "Only good things," Jennifer assured. "Where are your brothers?" Tammy asked. "Tommy is doing homework at the kitchen table, and Timmy is sleeping. He didn't want to eat lunch properly, so I let him rest." Michael was impressed with the girl's maturity. "And your dad, Frank? He's in the bedroom trying to do the exercises the physical therapist taught him." "Shall we go in?" Tammy invited. The inside of the house was simple but very clean and organized. The living room had a small sofa, a coffee table, an old television, and some family photos on the walls. Michael noticed that there were toys organized in a corner and school books on the table. "Tommy!" Tammy called. A boy with curly hair appeared from the kitchen carrying a notebook. "Hi, Mom!" He ran to hug Tammy, but stopped when he saw Michael and Jennifer. "These are the parents of the babies Mom takes care of, remember?" Emily explained to her brother. "Oh, yes," Tommy smiled. "Hi, did you come to see our house?" "We did," Michael replied. "And you, are you studying?" "I'm doing math homework. It's hard, but Emily helps me." "Very good, keep studying, it's very important." "Where is Timmy?" Tammy asked. "He's sleeping in our room," Emily answered. "Do you want me to go get him?" "No, let him rest. And what about Daddy Frank?" "I'll get him," Tommy offered. "No need, son, I'll go over there." Tammy turned to Michael and Jennifer. "Make yourselves at home. Emily, offer them a glass of water." "Don't worry, Mum." Tammy walked toward the bedrooms, still carrying Ethan and Noah in the carrier. Michael and Jennifer stayed in the living room with Emily and Tommy. Jennifer looked at the photos on the wall. "Emily, can you tell me about your family?" "Of course." The girl perked up. "That photo over there is from the day Mom married Daddy Frank. I was 8 years old." Michael looked at the photo. Tammy was wearing a simple white dress, smiling next to a tall, dark-skinned man with the 3 children beside them. "It was a very beautiful day," Emily continued. "Mum was very happy." "And you? Were you happy too?" "We were. Daddy Frank is really nice. He plays with us, helps with homework, and never yells." And what does he do for work? He used to work as a construction worker, but after he fell from the construction site, he can't work anymore. Emily's expression became more serious. Do you worry about that? A little. Mum gets very tired working in so many places. Michael and Jennifer exchanged looks. And what is it like for you to take care of your brothers when your mum isn't here? It's not too hard. Tommy is obedient, and Timmy just wants to play and watch cartoons. I just heat up the food and keep an eye on them. But don't you miss playing, going out with friends? Sometimes, but I understand that Mom needs to work. Michael was impressed by the girl's maturity, but also felt a sadness realizing she had grown up too fast. At that moment, they heard a male voice coming from the bedrooms. Tammy, you're home early today. I am, honey, and I brought some people for you to meet. Michael and Jennifer heard a quiet conversation between Tammy and Frank, and then footsteps approaching the living room. Frank appeared, walking slowly, leaning on crutches. He was a man of about 45, dark-skinned, with a friendly smile despite the visible tiredness on his face. Good afternoon, he greeted Michael and Jennifer. I'm Frank, Tammy's husband. Good afternoon, Frank. Michael stood up to greet him. I'm Michael, and this is Jennifer. We're Tammy's employers. Oh yes, Tammy talks about you all the time, always very fondly. And we talk about her a lot too, Jennifer said. In fact, we came here to propose something to you. A proposal? Frank carefully sat down on the couch. Tammy came in from the kitchen where she had gone to get water for the twins. Honey, Mr. Michael and Ms. Jennifer made an amazing proposal for us. What kind of proposal? Michael stepped forward. Frank, Tammy told us about your situation, about the accident and about the difficulties you're facing. She did. Frank looked at Tammy, surprised. She did, because we found out she was working at a restaurant with our children, Jennifer explained. What do you mean? Tammy sat next to her husband and told the whole story of what had happened that day. Frank listened quietly, sometimes shaking his head with concern. Tammy, you should have told me you were taking the boys to the restaurant. I didn't want to worry you even more. Worry me? Do you think I don't worry seeing you leave home in the early morning and come back in the early morning? Frank, I was trying to handle things the best way I could. And what is your proposal? Frank asked, turning to Michael and Jennifer. Our proposal is that your whole family move into our house, Michael explained. We have rooms available, and that way Tammy can keep taking care of our children, but without having to be separated from you. Frank was silent for a few seconds. Live in your house? That's right. You could do your physical therapy more comfortably. The children would have a better environment to study, and Tammy wouldn't need to work multiple jobs anymore. And what would you get in return? What do you mean? What would you gain from this? Michael and Jennifer exchanged glances. We'd gain the peace of mind knowing our children are being cared for by someone who truly loves them and who is living well, Jennifer replied. But that doesn't seem fair. You'd be offering a lot and asking for little. Frank, Michael said, for 2 years Tammy cared for our children as if they were her own. She became part of our family. In a family, people help each other. But we don't want to become dependent on you. And you won't. Tammy will keep working and receiving her salary. The difference is you'll have a more dignified and less stressful life. Emily, who had been listening to everything, approached. Daddy, does that mean Mom won't have to leave home at dawn anymore? If we accept the offer, yes. And that I won't have to take care of the boys all by myself anymore? That's right. Then I think we should accept, the girl said simply. Tommy also came closer. Accept what? The parents of the babies Mom takes care of offered for us to live in their house, Emily explained. Live in a big house? Yeah, in a big house. And will I get to have my own room? Michael smiled. Yes, you will. Then I also think we should accept. At that moment, a little noise came from the bedroom. Timmy woke up, Tammy said, getting up. She returned carrying a small boy with curly hair and sleepy eyes. When he saw Michael and Jennifer, he hid in his mother's arms. Timmy, these are the parents of the babies Mommy takes care of. The boy waved timidly. Hi, Timmy, Jennifer said affectionately. You're so handsome. Timmy smiled and hid again. He's shy, Tammy explained. Timmy, Emily addressed her brother, do you want to go live in a big house? A real house? A real house. With a backyard, Michael laughed. With a backyard. Then I want to. Frank watched his children's reactions and then looked at Tammy. What do you think, honey? I think it would be very good for the children, and for you too. And for you. For me, it would be a huge relief. But are you sure we won't be taking advantage of their kindness? Frank, Michael interrupted, can I say something? Of course. During these 2 years, Jennifer and I built a very successful company. Know why? Why? Because we had the peace of mind knowing our children were being well cared for, and that allowed us to focus on work. So, truthfully, our company's success owes a lot to Tammy. I never thought of it that way. That's exactly how it is. Tammy isn't just an employee to us. She's a silent partner in our success. Jennifer agreed. And now we want to repay that properly. Frank took a deep breath. I need to admit something to you. What? I've been feeling useless, a man who can't provide for his own family. Frank, Tammy began. Let me finish, honey. Seeing Tammy working herself to death because of me was making me feel really bad. Michael approached. Frank, you're not useless. You're facing a temporary situation. Temporary? Yes, you will recover. You'll go back to work. You'll go back to being the man you were. The doctors say it will take time. So what? Time is one thing we have plenty of. The important thing is for you to recover properly. But meanwhile, you'll accept help from family, because that's what we are now. Family. Frank looked at Tammy, then at the children, then at the twins who were peacefully in her arms. All right, we accept your proposal. Emily, Tommy, and Timmy celebrated. But, Frank continued, with one condition. What is it? As soon as I recover, I want to work for you too. I don't want to live on charity. Michael smiled. Deal. And know that we always have projects that need a skilled bricklayer. Really? Really? In fact, we're renovating a warehouse to expand our business. When you're better, the job is yours. Frank felt his eyes fill with tears. Thank you. You don't know what this means to me. We do know, Jennifer said. It means dignity, and everyone deserves to live with dignity. Tammy was emotional, rocking the twins who had gotten restless with all the movement. Mr. Michael, Miss Jennifer, I don't know how to thank you. No need to thank us, Tammy. You just need to keep taking care of our children with the same love you always have. I promise I'll do that for the rest of my life. At that moment, Ethan started to cry, and Tammy automatically began to hum to calm him down. Timmy approached, curious. Mom, can I see the baby? Yes, my son. Timmy looked at Ethan with curiosity. He's so tiny. Yes, he is. And you, when you were this tiny, I used to sing to you too. And now are we going to live with them? We are. So are they going to be my brothers? Tammy looked at Michael and Jennifer, not knowing how to respond. They're going to be your special little friends, Michael said. And you're going to help take care of them. I know how to take care of a baby, Timmy said proudly. Emily taught me. She did? Yes, I know how to make a bottle and change a diaper. Michael was impressed with the sense of responsibility all the children in that family had developed. When would you like to move? Jennifer asked. Whenever is best for you, Frank replied. How about tomorrow? Tomorrow? Tammy was surprised. Why not? The sooner you move, the sooner your lives will improve. But I need to pack our things, talk to the neighbors. Don't worry about that. We can help with the move. And this house? You can keep it, or rent it out, or sell it. It's your decision. Frank and Tammy looked at each other. I think we should keep the house, Frank said, in case you change your minds, or for when I recover and we want to come back. That's a good idea, Michael agreed. That way, you'll always have this place as an option. Emily was thoughtful. Mum, what about my school? We'll have to figure that out, honey. Actually, Jennifer said, there's an excellent school very close to our house. You can transfer there. A really good school? Very good. With a library, a sports court, a computer lab. Emily smiled, excited. What about Tommy and Timmy too? All of you. Tommy cheered. I want to see the sports court. And I want to see the computers, Timmy said. Michael watched the children's joy and felt moved. Suddenly his house, which had felt so empty since Rachel had left, was going to be full of life again. Tammy, can I ask you something? Of course, Mr. Michael. Are you happy about this move? Very happy, but also a little scared. Scared of what? Scared that I won't be able to live up to the trust you're placing in us. Tammy, you've already proven you can. For 2 years you have. But now it's different. Now it's 5 people living in your house. So what? Our house has room for many more than 5 people. It's not a question of physical space. It's a question of space in your hearts. Michael looked at the twins, who were peacefully in Tammy's arms, then at the 3 children who were excited about the move, then at Frank, who seemed to have regained some hope. Tammy, our hearts have endless room for good people, and you all are good people. How can you be so sure? Because I see how you treat each other. I see how these children care for one another. I see how you and Frank respect and support each other. I see how you've built a family based on love, even through hardships. And that's what we want for our children too, Jennifer added. We want Ethan and Noah to grow up in a family full of love, and that's what you'll provide for them. Frank leaned forward. Can I ask you a question? Of course. Why are you doing this? What's your real motivation? Michael and Jennifer exchanged glances. The real motivation, Michael said, is that we lost a very important part of our family when Rachel passed, and you can help us recover what we lost. What did you lose? The feeling of a complete family, the joy of children playing around the house, the security of knowing our children are being raised with love. But you already had that with Tammy. We did, but only during work hours. Now we'll have it all the time. Jennifer turned to the children. Do you know what else we're looking forward to doing? What? Emily asked. Getting to know you better, learning what you like, helping with homework, playing with you. You'll play with us? Of course. Why not? Because you're important adults. So what? Important adults know how to play too. Timmy approached Jennifer. What do you know how to play? Lots of things. Hide and seek, ball games, putting together puzzles. And with Play-Doh? With Play-Doh too. Then you'll like playing with me. Jennifer smiled and ruffled the boy's hair. I'll love playing with you. At that moment, Noah started getting fussy, and Tammy stood up to calm him. He probably wants to sleep, she said. Want me to take him? Michael offered. You can take him. Michael took Noah in his arms and began gently rocking him. The baby calmed down almost immediately. See, Tammy said. He recognizes his daddy. You think so? I'm sure. Babies sense people's love. Frank observed the scene. Are you 2 first-time parents? We are, Michael replied. And how has the experience been? Difficult, especially after Rachel, especially after it was just the 3 of us. Were you scared? Very scared. Afraid of not knowing how to care for them properly. Afraid of not giving them the love they need. Afraid of not being able to replace the mother they lost. And now? Now I feel like they're going to have a complete family again. Tammy was emotional, watching Michael with Noah in his arms. Mr. Michael, can I confess something? Go ahead. I've always wanted to get to know your family better. I always wondered what your homes were like, how you lived when you weren't working. And why didn't you ever ask? Because I thought it would be too intrusive. It wouldn't be. In fact, we were curious about your life too, but we also thought it would be intrusive to ask too much. And now, we'll be able to really get to know each other. Exactly. Jennifer stood up. How about we go to our house now so you can see where you'll be living? Now? Why not? That way you can see if you like it, if you have any suggestions, if you want to change anything. Change anything? Frank asked, surprised. Of course. You'll be living there. It has to be a place where you feel at home. But it's your house? It was. Now it'll be all of our house. Emily was excited. "Can I see the room where I'll sleep?" "You can see all the rooms and choose which one you want." "Really? Really?" "Me too?" Tommy asked. "You too." "And me?" Timmy wanted to know. "You too, my little one." Frank stood up carefully, leaning on his crutches. "Then let's go see our new house." When they left the family's house, Michael noticed some neighbors were watching from the window, curious about the group's presence. "Tammy, are your neighbors worried?" "I think they're just curious. It's not common to see cars around here in the neighborhood. Do you want to let anyone know you're leaving?" "I want to tell Mrs. Wilson. She's like a mother to me." Tammy went to the house next door and called out, "Mrs. Wilson, do you have a minute?" A lady about 60 years old appeared at the door. "Hi, dear. What's going on? I saw some unusual activity here." "Mrs. Wilson, these are the folks I work for, Mr. Michael and Miss Jennifer." "Oh, it's them," the lady smiled. "Tammy talks about you all the time." "Only good things, I hope," Michael said. "Only good things. She always says you're very special people." "Mrs. Wilson," Tammy said, "we're going to see their house. Can you keep an eye on things here for me?" "Of course, dear. God be with you." "Thank you. You have my number if anything comes up." "Don't worry about it. And you," she said to Michael and Jennifer, "take good care of my girl and this family. They're good as gold." "We'll take good care of them," Jennifer promised. "Mrs. Wilson," Michael said, "Tammy told me you make pastries to sell at the market." "Yes, I do. Why?" "We'd like to order some for our company's employees." "Really? Really? Tammy can give you my number and we can talk about it." "My goodness, how wonderful. Thank you, sir. We're the ones who should be thanking you." When they headed to the bus stop, Frank asked, "Are you really taking the bus again?" "We are," Michael answered. "Actually, I'm enjoying getting to know more about how you live." "And has the experience been good?" "Very interesting. It's making me rethink a few things." "What kind of things?" "About how important it is not to lose touch with how most people really live." During the bus ride, the children got excited looking at the city through the window. It was a long ride, going from the outskirts toward the more central neighborhoods. "Mom, look at those tall buildings," Tommy exclaimed. "Yes, son. It's a different part of the city." "Are we going to live here?" "Near here." "And will we get to walk around here?" "Of course you will," Jennifer answered. "You'll get to know the whole area." Emily was watching everything carefully. "It's very different from our neighborhood." "Different how?" Michael asked. More busy. Cleaner. With more stores." "And do you think you'll like it?" "I think so. But I like our neighborhood too. And you can always go back there to visit the neighbors." "True." After more than an hour of travel, they got off the bus in an upper-middle-class neighborhood. The streets were wide, tree-lined, with large, well-kept houses. "Wow," Emily murmured, impressed. "Is this where you live?" Tommy asked. "This is it," Michael confirmed. Timmy's eyes were wide, looking at the houses. "Are they castles?" Michael laughed. "No, they're houses. Houses a bit bigger than yours, but just regular houses." They walked a few blocks until they stopped in front of a large 2-story house with a well-kept garden in front and an iron gate with gold details. "This is it," Jennifer said. "This what?" Timmy asked. "This is where you're going to live." "In this house?" "In this house." Timmy looked up, trying to see where the house ended. "It's so tall." "It has 2 floors, Michael explained. "And are we going to live on both floors?" "You're going to live in the whole house." When they entered through the gate, the children were amazed by the garden. "Mom, look at all these flowers," Tommy exclaimed. "They really are beautiful," Tammy agreed. "And back here there's a big tree," Emily discovered. "It's a mulberry tree," Jennifer explained. "It gives sweet mulberries." "Can we eat them?" "Of course, the tree is yours now too." When they entered the house, everyone fell silent. The living room was large, with comfortable sofas, a big screen television, paintings on the walls, and a staircase leading to the 2nd floor. "Good heavens," Frank murmured. "Is it too big for you?" Michael asked, concerned. "It's not too big. It's beautiful. Feel free to explore the entire house." The children could barely contain their curiosity, but they were too polite to go running through the house. "You can go, children," Tammy said, "but be careful not to touch anything." "They can touch everything," Jennifer assured. "The house is yours now." Emily, Tommy, and Timmy began exploring the house, always together, commenting on everything they saw. "Look at this kitchen," Emily exclaimed. "And look at this huge refrigerator," Tommy added. "And look at these stoves." Timmy pointed to the 6-burner stove. Michael and Jennifer took Tammy and Frank to see the bedrooms where they would stay. "These are the maids' quarters," Jennifer explained, opening a door. "But we're going to renovate everything, change the furniture, paint, to make it just how you want it." The room was large, with a double bed, a wardrobe, a dresser, and a window that looked out onto the garden. "It has a private bathroom," Michael showed. Tammy and Frank were impressed. "All of this is for us?" "All of it. And if you want to change the decor, change the furniture. It's no problem at all." "And the children?" "Come see." They went up to the 2nd floor, where there were 3 large bedrooms. "This one can be Emily's." Jennifer opened the door to a room with a single bed, a desk, and a window that faced the street. "By myself?" Emily asked, appearing behind them. "By yourself. You're old enough to have privacy." "I've never had my own room before. And this one can be for the boys." Michael showed another room with 2 beds. "And this 3rd bedroom?" "This is the baby's room, for Ethan and Noah." "Will they sleep close to us?" Timmy asked. "Close by in case they need something during the night." "And can I help take care of them?" "Yes, you can, but only when Mommy is nearby." Tammy was emotional, watching everything. "Mr. Michael, Ms. Jennifer, all of this feels like a dream." "It's a dream that's becoming reality," Michael said. "And where will you sleep?" "Our bedroom is on the 1st floor, on the other side of the house." "So we'll have privacy?" "Complete. Each family will have their own space, but we'll all be under the same roof." Frank sat on one of the beds in the boys' room. "Can I confess something?" "Of course. I was feeling useless, a burden to my family. And now? Now I feel like I can contribute in other ways. I can help with the children, I can take care of the garden, I can do small repairs around the house as I recover." "Exactly. Everyone has something to contribute. And I promise I'll recover as quickly as possible to go back to work." "Don't rush, Frank. The important thing is to recover well." At that moment, Ethan started to cry, and Tammy automatically went to pick him up. "He must be unsettled by the new environment," she said. "Or maybe he's happy to be home," Jennifer suggested. "Home? Yes, this is his home now and all of yours." Tammy hummed to Ethan and he quickly calmed down. "Tammy," Michael said, "can I ask you a personal question?" "You may." "How is it that you have so much love to give to everyone? For your children, for Frank, for our babies, even for strangers on the street?" Tammy thought for a moment. "I think it's because I've learned that love doesn't diminish when you share it. It multiplies." "How so?" "When I care for your children with love, I don't stop loving my own. On the contrary, caring for them with affection makes me a better mother to my own children. I never thought of it that way. And when I help someone on the street, I don't stop caring for my family. I teach my children that we have to be supportive." Michael was impressed with Tammy's life philosophy. "And where did this wisdom come from?" "From my mother. She always said that God gave us a big heart so we could love many people. Your mother was a wise woman." "She was, and she would be very happy to see how far we've come. I'm sure she would be proud of you." At that moment, the children returned from exploring the house, very excited. "Mom," Tommy exclaimed, "there's a room just for watching television." "And there's a kitchen that looks like a restaurant," Emily added. "And there's a backyard with a pool," Timmy shouted. "A pool?" Tammy looked at Michael and Jennifer. "We forgot to mention," Michael smiled. "There's a tiny little pool in the backyard. Do the children know how to swim?" "They don't, but we can teach them," Jennifer said. "Really? You're going to teach us how to swim?" Tommy asked, excited. "Yes, we are." "And can we use the pool whenever we want?" "Whenever you want, but always with an adult nearby." Emily was thoughtful. "This all seems too good to be true." "Why do you think that?" Michael asked. "Because people like you usually don't do this kind of thing for people like us." "What kind of people are we?" "Rich, important people who have a lot of money." And what kind of people are you? Poor people, who have to work hard to get things. Michael crouched down to be at eye level with Emily. Emily, can I teach you something? Okay. There aren't different types of people. There are good people and bad people. And you are very good people. And are you good people too? We try to be, and being near you makes us better people. How so? You teach us important things, like how to be a real family, how to help each other, how to be supportive. And what will we learn from you? You will learn that it's possible to dream big and achieve good things in life. Tommy came closer. Mr. Michael, can we really live here? Yes, you can. And for how long? For as long as you want. And if we do something wrong? Everyone does wrong things sometimes. The important thing is to talk and solve the problems together. Timmy tugged on Jennifer's clothes. Miss Jennifer, are you going to be my new mom? The question took everyone by surprise. Tammy was embarrassed. Timmy, your mom is Mommy. I know Mommy is my mom, but can I have two moms? Jennifer crouched down to talk to him. Timmy, your mom is Mommy Tammy. I will be your special friend, okay? Okay. And will you play with me? I will play with you a lot. Then it's okay. Michael watched the interaction and felt his heart warm. Everyone, how about we start organizing the move for tomorrow? Tomorrow? Frank asked. Tomorrow. The sooner you move in, the sooner you'll feel at home. But we have a lot of things to pack. We will help, Jennifer assured. We can hire a moving company, help pack things, organize everything. You would do that? Of course. We're family now, remember? Tammy was emotional, rocking Noah in her arms. I still can't believe this is happening. It is happening, Michael said, and tomorrow night you will sleep here. In real beds? Timmy asked. In real beds, in real rooms, in your real house. Wow. Emily approached Jennifer. Miss Jennifer, can I ask a question? Go ahead. Are you sure you won't regret it? Absolutely sure. Why? Because we're very used to making noise and messing things up, and sometimes Timmy cries at night. Emily, do you know what this house was needing? What? Noise, mess, life. Really? Very really. Since the babies were born, this house has been very quiet, very serious. It was missing children's joy. And you won't get annoyed if we make too much noise. If you make too much noise, we'll make noise along with you. Tommy laughed. Adults making noise. Why not? Michael asked. Do you think adults can't have fun? They can, but usually adults ask children to be quiet. These adults here are different. How are they different? These adults here want to learn to be children again along with you. The children got excited about that prospect. So, you'll really play with us? Really? And you'll watch cartoons with us? We will. And you'll play ball in the backyard? We will. Wow, that's going to be so cool. Frank watched his children's joy and felt moved. Michael, Jennifer, you don't know what you're doing for this family. Yes, we do, Michael answered. We're giving an opportunity for all of us to be happy. And we'll do everything to deserve this opportunity. You already deserve it, just for being who you are. At that moment, Ethan started to get sleepy in Tammy's lap. He's getting sleepy, she observed. Do you want to put him to sleep in his room? Jennifer suggested. In his room? In the room that will be his from now on. They went up to the second floor, and Tammy put Ethan in the crib that was in the baby's room. It's a very pretty crib, she commented, and it will get even prettier when you decorate it however you want. Can we change the decoration? You can change everything. The colors, the furniture, the toys, everything. And Noah? Noah will sleep in the crib next to it. Tammy observed the room, imagining what it would be like to take care of the babies in that environment. It's going to be very good for them to grow up here. It's going to be good for everyone, for the babies, for the children, for you, and for us too. How is that for you? Our house was very empty, Tammy, very quiet. It was missing a real family. And now? Now it's going to be full of life, of joy, of love. When they went downstairs, they found the children talking excitedly with Frank about all the places they had explored in the house. Daddy, there's a whole library. Emily told. A library? With hundreds of books. And you can read all of them, Jennifer said. Really? Really. And if you want books that aren't there, we'll buy them. Wow, I'm going to read all of them. Tommy was excited about another discovery. And there's a room with musical instruments. Musical instruments? Michael asked. There's a piano, a guitar, and some things that make noise. Michael laughed. That's the music room. Rachel used to play piano. Can we learn to play? You can. We can hire a music teacher for you. A teacher just for us? Why not? The children were getting more and more excited about the possibilities. Timmy had made his own discovery. And there's a toy dog that looks real. Where did you see a toy dog? Tammy asked. In the living room, behind the sofa. Michael and Jennifer looked at each other. Timmy, Michael said, that's not a toy dog. It's not? It's a real dog. He was sleeping. A real dog? The three children shouted at the same time. A real dog. His name is Buddy. Can we play with him? You can. He's very gentle and loves children. Why was he sleeping? Because he's an old dog. He's 12 years old. And will he like us? He'll love you. He needed children to play with. Tommy was thrilled. Mom, we're going to have a dog. You're going to have many things, Tammy said, moved. And we'll take good care of everything, Emily promised. I know you will take care. Michael looked at all of them and felt complete for the first time in a long while. Folks, how about we have dinner together here tonight, to start getting used to being a family? Dinner here? Frank asked. Why not? We can order a pizza, make a salad, and all have dinner together. Pizza? Timmy got excited. A large pizza with lots of toppings. I've never had pizza, he confessed. Never? Jennifer was surprised. Never. It's too expensive. Then today will be the first time, and it won't be the last. Tammy was moved to see her son's joy. Mr. Michael, Ms. Jennifer, you've already done so much for us today. Tammy, today is just the beginning. Tomorrow will be even better. How can it be even better? Tomorrow you'll wake up in your own home. You'll have breakfast together. The children will see their new school. Frank will meet the physical therapist who will help him recover faster. Really? You'll get a physical therapist for me? It's already scheduled for Monday. Frank was moved. I don't know how to thank you. Thank us by recovering quickly and smiling again, Michael said. That I promise I'll do. At that moment, Noah woke up and started crying upstairs. I'll get him, Tammy said. I'll go with you, Emily offered. Me too, Tommy said. And me too, Timmy added. They all went up together to get Noah, leaving Michael, Jennifer, and Frank in the living room. Frank, Michael said, can I ask you something? Sure. How did you and Tammy manage to raise such polite and caring children? I think it's because we always tried to lead by example, and because Tammy is an exceptional mother. She really is, but you're also an exceptional father. I try to be. These children aren't my biological kids, but I love them as if they were. And do they know that? They do. Emily has called me Daddy since the first day I joined the family. And what was it like for you to take on 3 children at once? It was natural. When I fell in love with Tammy, I fell in love with the whole family. And now with the accident, now I feel useless. A burden. Frank, you're not a burden. You're the emotional pillar of the family. How so? You're the man who provides security for Tammy and the children. Even sick, even with limitations, you're still their male role model. I never thought of it that way. That's exactly how it is. And when you recover, you'll be the provider again too. Do you really think I'll recover completely? We're sure. With proper physical therapy, with time, with care, you'll walk normally again. And will I be able to work for you? You'll be able to work with us, as a partner, not as an employee. Partner? That's right. We want to start a construction and renovation company, and you would be the technical manager. Frank was speechless. You're serious? Completely serious. But I'm just a construction worker. You're an experienced construction worker, who knows the trade, who has contacts in the business. That's worth a lot. And you would invest the money. We would invest the startup capital, and you would contribute with knowledge and work. And then? Then we would split the profits. Frank was moved. You're offering me much more than a house to live in. You're offering me dignity. We're offering an opportunity for all of us to grow together, Jennifer said. At that moment, the family returned from searching for Noah. The children were excited because they had met Buddy, who had woken up with all the commotion. He's so cute, Timmy said. And very affectionate, Emily added. He was happy when he saw us, Tommy observed. Of course he was. He needed a new family, Michael explained. A new family? Yes. He was a little sad, all alone in this big house. Now he'll have you all to keep him company. And can we take care of him? You can help take care of him. Give him food, give him baths, play with him. Wow, that's going to be so cool. Tammy watched all that commotion and felt a peace she hadn't felt in a long time. Mr. Michael, Miss Jennifer, I feel like you're angels who appeared in our lives. We're not angels, Tammy. We're just people who met at the right time. But why are you doing all this? Because you showed us what true love is, and now we want to give back. What do you mean? Tammy, for 2 years you took care of our children as if they were your own. You sacrificed yourself, worked non-stop, gave up your own family many times, all to give the best to Ethan and Noah. But I was paid to do that. You were paid to take care of them. You weren't paid to love them, and it's exactly that love that made the difference. And now it's our turn to take care of you with love. Michael looked at all of them, Tammy with Noah in her arms, Frank smiling for the first time in months, the excited children exploring their new home, Ethan sleeping peacefully, and felt that his family was complete again. Everyone, he said, welcome to our family. And at that moment, everyone knew that their lives would never be the same again. But they would be much, much better. End of story. And you, what did you think of this story of overcoming and family love? Were you moved by Tammy and her family's journey? Tell us in the comments which part touched your heart the most. And if you know someone who, like Tammy, deserves a chance to change their life, don't forget to leave your like and subscribe to the channel for more heartwarming stories like this one.